Hello everybody and welcome. It is Thursday night. It's What If night, and on the day that we thought about what might have been with Monarcha, we think what might have been had we actually looked at some of your what if suggestions. I am MasakoX and I am joined by, as usual, Haverok.
Hello!
And of course, Sophie B.
Hi, everyone.
Yes, and if you are new to the channel, or, after the What If Goku Black Turned Good arc, basically, this is our weekly What If Roundtable livestream, where you guys can put your what if questions to us, and also leaving super chats and contributing to make sure that we keep going on this channel being total nerds, because that's what we do. So,
Yeah.
if you don't know how it works, you leave a super chat, it gets recorded, I have a list right here, and, it means that it doesn't go missing. And also, you do contribute, I really do appreciate it. We all do, actually. It means that we can keep on liking Dragon Ball and basically feeling like we know what we're doing, which is very rare nowadays.
Yep.
Oh, come now, Masako. Dragon Ball What Ifery is our speciality.
I know, but at the same time, it's always best to be humble. It's always... But yeah,
Hello
so...
there.
You
Hello there.
Oh, it's General Haverok. Have you seen there's a TikTok of basically it's all the lightsabers have been replaced with Obi-Wan's head. So instead of the
Oh my gosh.
it's just the hello there, hello there, hello there, hello there.
Oh my god.
It's amazing.
It is very good. Alright, let's kick things off with, at first, Red Dragon Force 2. What if Good Boy 21 met Good Girl 21? And by this, what we mean is our Good Boy Cell meeting the nice version of Android 21. Still a margin, but at least being somewhat amiable. So, I bet if they did, I imagine... I still like to think that Good Boy 21 still has the sass of Perfect Cell. Just he's nicer with it. He picks and chooses his battles. Like,
Yeah.
I imagine he doesn't go... I imagine I don't go full sass unless it's actually called for.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone goes, oh man, you don't want 21 to go full sass. Nobody likes that.
Yeah.
I feel that'd be really nice. They're both really innocent and pure. I think they'd end up having really nice conversations. I think.
Yeah. I think that they'd probably think of one another as more or less like in a familial way, like cousins, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Are you my mommy? I can be your mommy. Sorry, couldn't resist.
Internal screaming!
God.
No, I'd say basically he'd view 21 as like an aunt.
Yeah.
That would, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I think so. But yeah. Podo. How would Vegeta react if Trunks became a weeb? You know what? I don't really care so long as it doesn't make him weaker. I mean, to be honest, everything kind of makes him weaker, so long as this doesn't, I'm not really fussed.
Also, Vegeta kinda becomes a whip of earth and culture, if you think about this.
Oh yes, an
Himself.
otaku, because an otaku is not
Yeah.
just it's not just stuck with, it's not just anime. You can be an otaku. It's like a term for anorak.
Yeah.
Like Vegeta knows a lot about Earth culture.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
honestly, I don't think Vegeta would care so long as it doesn't impact his training.
Yeah.
Yeah. And in some ways he already kind of views Trunks a lost cause, depending on the timeline we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Paparazzi is in again, asking, did we watch Infinity Train yet? I'm afraid not. I've been really busy because I'm off to Barcelona in a couple of weeks.
Very neat.
I've got a 9-video buffer. Like, I've got videos done for the next 3 weeks. So Haverok and I have been very busy. So unfortunately, we've not been able to kind of take a look at these kind of stuff. So, but
I've been busy with my day job.
Well, there you go. So we do have jobs, but it is...
We are old people, busy with our
old people
mundane
with responsibilities. Oof.
Yeah.
Can't I just weeb out in peace? You mean I gotta
Please.
do stuff? But,
Man, anime makes being a NEET look so easy.
yeah,
I know, right?
But actually, with all the videos that we've been doing, the focus of February is actually touching on very old what ifs. Like, I know there's a Vegeta Never Turned Good coming out. The Gohan Super Saiyan Early is gonna be on Saturday. There's a Piccolo Never Saved Gohan at the end of the month, and Vegeta 6. So yeah, loads of ones that have not been touched for a while. But yeah, so don't worry about that. But Paparazzi has another one saying, what if Trunks went so far back in time he accidentally Yamcha'd Gohan by landing on him and had to raise Kakarot? Well, first off, he'd be like, no.
How did I get it so wrong on the first try?
It's like, oh man, mom's not gonna be happy about this. You know, he's just gonna be absolutely, oh man, can I get a temporal do-over? I can imagine he goes back in time to 10 minutes before, and then he just thinks, wait, Goku, I know your name, I know it's really confusing right now, but let's just, can you just stand about 10 feet over there? Sure, Mr. Future Man. And then basically, oh, thank God. Wait, how did I get in the future? Oh no, there's two me's. Oh no, temporal paradox. Or as the
Trunks,
Colonel
you've
from...
caused a time paradox.
No, it's Major Zero. It's like, Snake, you've created a time paradox. Time paradox. Yeah. But anyway, that's how it would be. But in all seriousness, if he had to raise Kakarot, I think he would end up feeling obligated to do it. I would say so.
It would be like a lot of things would change. It would be a lot of series of a lot of misfortune. But I think in the end it would cause Goku to become stronger, though it would take the story would be very different.
It would certainly be. But yeah, sorry, go on.
To the point that we don't even know that he could cause Bulma and Vegeta to get together.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's just there's a lot of variables, but fortunately, we know that multiverse theory is a B. So basically, he got away with it. Yeah. But yeah, the Nerd King, he's just dropped a £200 donation. Whoa!
Wow! Oh,
I think that deserves an Owen Wilson. Wow!
Wow!
But thank you so much, Nerd King. But it said, first of all, I want to say thank you for answering my Facebook question about Comic Con, because he wanted to know whether he could, if I was going to MCM London Comic Con, which I am. The only what if question I have really is Sagoku one. I just wanted to say your Goku Black turned good touched my heart. I was in a similar place in 2013 when I heard post-traumatic stress. I could relate to this guy. Oh, thank you, Nerd King. Well, it's basically an absolute honor. And it's a pleasure, and one is glad to be of service. And if you get where it comes from, that reference and that quote, then you get a space muffin, whatever. But
well, I get a space muffin. That's Bicentennial Man.
Hey! Bravo. Very underrated movie. Very underrated. Seriously.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I mean, seriously, the ending is just like, ugh! That is like, if you're broken at that, it's just like, you have to be broken by it, otherwise you are not human. But yeah, the Goku Black one, that was a really good one, and I'm really happy with just the way, Zamasu's like, no, you must get out of the way. Goku Black just flips him off, and just like, it's just like Terminator 2. Instead of lava, it's just a ki blast, and instead of other gesticulations, it's just the middle finger. But yeah, no, thank you just so much, man. I hope to see you at MCM, and I will be at MCM alongside Philly. We will be having a table there, so I hope to have a brand new comic to show. So that'll be good. Yes. Absolutely. Nexus is working on some gold, but once again, thank you so much, Nerd King. Absolute pleasure to be of service. But anyway, let's carry on. Let's carry on with Paparazzi again. What if Deborah joined the Z Fighters? Now, I know we had a little giggle about this before the stream started.
Yeah.
And We basically Haverok said that you thought that he'd be so pure he'd mainly just be there for moral support.
Yeah.
And you also said that this would be one of the few times that you'd actually like Toa and Mira to be in the main story.
Yeah, because like their reaction would be hilarious. Like they come here and like, brother, what happened to you? Oh, come here, my sister. Come be good with me. What have you done to my brother? What have you done to my brother? Okay, let's go away from here. These guys should be punished. It's not fair. Like there has to be some kind of law that stops people from doing things like this. Like they would be absolutely mortified by what they did, and probably afraid that could happen to them as well.
Mm.
And Dabura being a moral support / a house help for Chi-Chi, for example.
Oh man, it's like you should see Dabura cleaning the kitchen. He's a demon at it.
Oh, thank you, Chi-Chi.
Oh, you know just what to say to the galactic overlords.
You're far too kind.
Oh, seriously, I can imagine our Richard, our Piccolo Richard voicing the good guy Dabura.
Yeah.
And you know what? I kind of almost want to just have that in the background. It's like, oh, well, it's like... Oh, one of the greatest subversions. The Boo Saga was a weird one, but that was one of the things I was okay with, and I felt really, really pleased.
I mean, it was funny. It was
funny. Oh yeah, Golden Cooler's up next. What if Cooler was made canon in DBS? Would you rather see him as a bad guy like in the original, or as a good guy to differentiate himself from Frieza? I think this could go two ways. First of all, I think it would be if he were to differentiate him from Frieza and make him a neutral point of view, that'd be kind of okay. But I actually think it'd be even better if Frieza comes to the good guys and goes like, "Oh, you think I'm bad? Just wait until you meet my brother." And Cooler's just even worse.
Yeah, there are two ways to approach Cooler. He either needs to be slightly better than Frieza, not by much, but slightly better, or worse than Frieza. So
at best pure neutral.
Yeah, he should be a foil, not exactly for Z fighters, but for Frieza.
One of the interpretations that I thought would have been interesting for a Cooler who's not an outright like villain like the movies make him, because he's basically a more powerful carbon copy of Frieza, more or less, but a little more pragmatic. I've actually seen some takes on him where he's kind of like this sort of true neutral philosopher type to sort of be that foil to Frieza's cold, cruel businessman. He's instead this kind of like introspective, thoughtful philosopher, and that's part of the reason why he didn't want to rule over Cold's empire.
Yeah.
And so Cold had to make Frieza.
Yeah, so like basically Cooler has like the deep philosophical and quite sage mood of King Cold, but just not the drive to rule. In a way. So basically King Cold thought, well, I basically made someone who's the spitting image of me, just without a pair. So basically he created Frieza. Basically say, okay, I didn't dial up enough on that, so we'll try on that. And then he says, I want to destroy the galaxy and rule it in main the name of Lord Frieza. A little bit hot on that, but you know what, I'll take it. It's like he's just like, that'll do.
Sometimes you just have to settle.
Sometimes one has to roll with it. But yeah, I think I could be a good guy.
And as the old saying says, they see me rolling, they hating.
Oh my gosh.
Patrol thinks I'm ruling dirty. Podo has another question to basically, how would Ranch react if Trunks became a weeb? I can imagine them actually having a good time of, watching anime and stuff like that. I can imagine.
Cosplay couple.
Oh, yeah. Oh, totally.
I like that thought.
Oh, no, they totally would be.
Also, if you check Ranch's room, drawn by Nexus, she kinda is.
Yeah,
with-
she's like got loads of Toriyama stuff.
So yes, like
Yeah, basically, Ranch's hobbies are, are manga, cars, and
music.
music and
And music.
monster trucks.
Yeah.
She loves monster trucks. That's I could just like she's got like this remote control monster truck, and she's just the dude's going, yeah, come on, and then just like Bulma say, oh please, that only goes at 10 miles an hour. Pff, I could do better than that. So yeah, I can imagine her. I basically would think that Ranch in her later days would end up being an engineer, like mechanic. That could be really cool. Just like
Yeah.
I can see that.
in peacetime, stuff like that.
Yep.
Yeah. Paparazzi's again. What if Dragon Ball Super made cooler Frieza's son from the future? Oh, well, that's certainly one retcon I didn't think about. But I guess really, if they did do that, that would be a very, you know what? I think the reaction would be a lot of people going like, watching very skeptically, going like, you know, kind of like with the whole Frieza being back in the Tournament of Power, people would be skeptical.
You know, I would rather see them remake Kuriza into an actual character in more serious form, or at least more that isn't then change Cooler into that, but like to actually make a Kuriza. Like, we know that you guys really want to see Kuriza for some reason, so I am kind of working on a scenario with Kuriza slowly but steadily. But yeah, like I think that Cooler has a certain vibe to him, and I think that being Frieza's son, like that could be any other character. That could be Frieza or anything. Like, I think what makes Cooler is that familiar relationship to Frieza as his competitive sibling. I think this is a very important aspect of their relationship. I don't know if you guys agree.
No, absolutely. No, I would agree with that. I would agree with that most definitely. Okay. Paparazzi again. What if New Namek was in Earth's solar system? Well, I would say basically in the Moro arc. Ooh. Just waiting for the sound.
Press the button.
I am pressing the button. It's being very slow today. It's having there we go. Well, basically, the whole point was that there was a long distance between New Namek and Earth. And basically, if that happened, then basically Moro would be there, find out, oh, they're from Earth. And then he would literally just hop, skip, and a jump, and then the world would be destroyed. That's the long and short of it, really. Alas.
Yeah,
but that's
bad
true.
end.
Bad end. Tempest Master 1000 saying, hey gang, sorry it's been a long while, but no, don't worry mate. My first one is this. What if Frost sought the golden form post-Tournament of Power and eventually hatched a revenge plot against Frieza post-Broly for his humiliation? You know what? I don't think Frost would go that way. I think he barely managed to get his resolve back. Then when he met someone who was just like him, who then turned out to betray him, I think that's the ultimate, like, he snapped. He did snap. He got erased for it early. I think he's basically done. Like, he is...
I think he's been laying low. Like, one thing that I hoped for and that wasn't attributed was that, like, I felt that his reintroduction to the TOP, like, kinda seemed to indicate that there will be some sort of mentor-master relationship between Heat and Frost. And I would say if anything, if he returns, it would be something like this, because he kinda respects Heat. Kinda.
Yeah.
If he respects anyone, he does respect Heat. So if he would return, maybe like this.
I can't really see Hit becoming a mentor to anybody, though. Because if there's really somebody who kind of exemplifies the Merc mentality, in the Dragon Ball Z universe, I'd probably say it's Hit. Like, He does some personally like selfish things in the desire to kind of like, you know, have his challenge and stuff. But at the same time, for the most part, he's the dude who's just like, yeah, I'll take the job.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. You know, it's time to make the donuts.
Yeah. Yeah, you had to say it. That's absolutely true. But yeah, I think if Frost did, he would only just discover it purely by chance. But I think he would still have the same pratfalls of Frieza powering up and then losing a lot of stamina. So he'd just go through the whole same thing again. But I think ultimately, though, it's going to take a lot to get him back into the 4 again. But yeah. Paparazzi. Yeah. What if King Cold / Frieza and Demon King Piccolo / Piccolo's places in the story and powers are swapped? Oh
dear, that's a complicated question.
That is a complicated question, but basically, if it were terms of characters but the powers are the same, I mean, it'd be very interesting. They are very, very different. They're very different characters, but I would say that it would be a very interesting and very different type of, you know, character to deal with. And then you would have Frieza in there. You know, Frieza would certainly not take kindly to being let go. But it'd also be very interesting. Instead of Frieza being the Namek, it's an evil Namekian. Like, you know, it's the legendary evil Namekian that comes every 1,000 years. And stuff like that.
You could kind of retool the sorts of plots that you got with like King Piccolo or Lord Slug in the movie, and do a sort of like a super Namekian plot or evil Namekian plot in that sort of form. Just improve the writing a bit more.
Only good.
Yeah, only good.
Yeah, no, exactly. So yeah, that I think that's pretty much it, really. But it's an interesting thought, actually. Cameron Heaton, what if Goku and Chi-Chi had septuplets after Namek? Oh, the septuplets thing again. This has happened loads of times. I'm like really surprised. All I'd say is
other people must have done it.
I would say I'd feel very sorry for Chi-Chi right now having to do all of that. But basically, if there were 7.5 Saiyans or stuff like that, and they were all just as prodigious as Gohan, that's not gonna be a good time for any kind of bad guy. You know?
Yeah.
But Goku would be in his element. He'd have his own little school.
See, the problem that I'm seeing is that when you've got that many siblings, there's always going to be those who have personalities that feel in some way like that lean more towards the negative, you know. And so the more characters in the Sun family that you introduce in that manner, right? So instead of Gohan, you've got, you know, 7 kids, right? And I get the theming there, you know, 7 kids, 7 Dragon Balls, that sort of thing, whatever. Yeah. But you're not going to wind up with 7 good children. Like that's more than likely not going to happen, especially considering the kind of parents that Chi-Chi and Goku both are. Goku being too lackadaisical, also hyperfixated on training and like the whole physical violence aspect basically of his hobby, and then Chi-Chi, who is, you know, she's categorized as this fierce, overbearing tiger mom type of person. So you're gonna have at least a couple of those kids are going to be feeling dissatisfied and unhappy, and what'll probably wind up happening is a lot of internal fighting between like the Z fighters, the Sun family children, all that kind of stuff. And honestly, I feel like adding that many characters also makes the story more difficult to manage and more difficult to write, because now you're not just trying to make Gohan important, you have to make Gohan and his 6 siblings important. You have to give every one of them personality, story, depth. And it's a very, very difficult concept.
Yeah.
And everyone would hate Son Percy, but Son Fred and Son George would be favorites, of course.
Son Gerald.
Now I'm just imagining the two characters just like Fred and George, but in the Dragon Ball Z style.
Yeah.
Thanks, Haverok.
With
Son
Goku's hairstyle, you know.
The legendary Son Weasley.
Yeah. Sonu Wizuru. Sonu Wizuru.
Oh. Alright, Dylan64, or Dalen64. What if Android 18 trained? Well, she kind of does, in a way. She kind of does. I mean, for a
On and
price.
off, she does with
On and off,
Krillin.
casually. Like, if Krillin wants to have a bit of a sparring, she will. But I suppose, really, her gains aren't as really that massive being an android. I mean, it's hard to say.
She the question to me answer is very easy. She could gain as much gains as her brother because they're like identical in strength.
True, okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, with infinite energy, there's a lot of potential she could do. So basically, I would say if she did train, like, if she really went at it, she would really be, like, she would be way stronger than Krillin.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
because-
She has a ton of potential, in
Yeah.
part because of the infinite energy engine, in part because she's already, she's already quite a bit more skilled than the humans of Earth were, like back during the Cell Saga and stuff like that. She has the potential to make some pretty good gains, but I don't see her as really wanting to. She's happy
Yes.
being with Krillin and raising her daughter and having a fairly normal life. I think that she has plenty of potential, but I don't think that she would actively seek that out unless it was one of those like last resort options. Like if the other Z fighters all experienced some mishap that left them unable to defend the Earth, and then it's like 18, you're gonna have to go into the hyperbolic time chamber for 2 years and train.
I would also say that maybe like we don't know that, but like after TOP, he might be training a little bit with her brother, seeing the games. We don't know that, but I'm pretty sure that after regaining a full contact with her brother, she might be doing that, and more as of a like, come on sis, you're gonna help me, be in shape a little bit, and as a kind of activity that she does when she meets with her brother, I think. Maybe and with 17 and Krillin, I think that would be like a healthy thing to do, not to be prepared for to actively fight, but more in a more recreative way,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, okay, Paparachis next. What if Namekians turned into angels with God Key and Piccolo got God Key? The Super Dragon Balls make this one more likely than Gohan, at least. Well, that's a bit of a tough one, actually. Basically, Namekians became angels or something like that. I mean, maybe because they live longer than most mortals and stuff like that. But basically, I mean, the Super Dragon Balls, I mean, yeah, they could get God Key, yes, because, yeah, they don't have the whole Super Saiyan God ritual having to do that. So basically, you could wish them to have God Key. I guess you could. So, I would say maybe that might end up with Piccolo maybe getting God Key, just to kind of keep up. In a way.
I don't know, like, I think that, like the thing with Namekians, like we know that they took the ability of creating Dragon Balls from Zalama, and they have that link with the Dragon Balls, which are clearly a divine creation. We know that. This is confirmed. So I would say they may already have the predisposition, like even Kami. We don't know if what Kami did wasn't connected to the God Key, and it's kinda implied that it was in the newer things. So I think they already can, kinda. I think they already can. It's not that spectacular as in case of likes of Beerus, or Kais, but I think they kinda can, but it's the lowest level of God Key,
Yeah, it's
that's how I interpret it. Don't quote me on that. That's at least that's my interpretation.
Okay, so
It
basically,
almost makes you wonder. If if you were going to create a retcon now that Akira Toriyama has altered the whole like the ladder of divinity, you know, it almost makes you wonder if the Guardian of Earth, who is, you know, Kami-sama, you know, who is somewhere on that list of divine beings, whether or not the Guardian of Earth gets to have any, you know, God key or train God key in any kind of way, you know. Did Kami get that? Does Dende get that at all, you know? Are some of those abilities associated with the Guardian God key specific abilities?
Okay. No, that's a fair point, actually. The Jurassic Show's next. What if Dr. Giro and Dr. Wheelo teamed up? Well, I could totally imagine that Dr. Wheelo would turn on Dr. Giro and take his body. For a start. Oh, totally. I mean, like, yeah, the thing is, though, for starters, Dr. Wheeler has coaching. And, you know, the fact is, though, he could come up with so many different ways, because Dr. Wheeler, I think, is more intelligent than Dr. Giro. And a lot more in control. And I think for a good twist, you'd have Dr. Wheeler playing along, and, you know, just like, oh, yes, Dr. Giro, yeah, your creations are the best. And then basically just think he's just a crackpot who basically just comes up with complete drivel. And then ultimately betrays him and takes his body.
Well, here's the real question, though. If Dr. Wheelo and Dr. Giro teamed up, why would Wheelo even need to take Giro's body? Because we already know that Giro is able to create androids from scratch. We know that he did that with 19 and he did that with 16 and stuff like that. Why wouldn't Giro simply be capable of making him a body, either with the energy absorption technology or with the infinite energy technology from, like, say, 17 or 18? Wheelo would probably actually have a better time planning-wise if he had just intended to use Giro to get himself a powerful body and then turn on him because Giro doesn't, you know, because Giro can't control him in the same way that Giro, like, can't control 17 and 18 or something similar to that.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be super eager to take Giro's robot body, particularly since he made himself still look like an old man for some reason.
Yeah, that was weird.
I mean, I think that was his pride more than anything. Also, if for some reason, like, you know, Willow would be adamant on taking Goku's body, I think Jiro wouldn't want that, because he would be very, very eager to destroy everything that was Goku. As much as, you know, tarnishing his reputation might be suiting in this thing. I think that both of them can actually try to betray each other. Like, both of them have too big egos to be able to cooperate successfully.
Yeah,
which we kind of saw, you know, as bad as this arc was with Dr. Mew, right? Those guys had similar mindset, and Jiro got betrayed very quickly. So like two powerful mad scientists working together never ends well for one of them.
No, because they basically just want all the kind of plaudits to themselves, really. Yeah. White Oak 19. What if Thanos and Frieza swapped places? Well, basically Thanos would literally just turn into Cooler, pretty much. They're both purple for a start. And both of them are actually surprisingly rational for what they are. Surprisingly so. So
I mean, Thanos is a psychopath, but yeah, pretty rational psychopath, if you can.
Yeah, but as in the same time, but at least he's able to kind of, you know, kind of like convey his own thought processes, whereas Frieza's a lot more chaotic.
I would say Thanos would have a much easier job in getting, you know, Dragon Balls, although he would probably get Super Dragon Balls to get his goal.
Yeah, why set up for regular Dragon Balls?
But to be quite honest, with regular Dragon Balls, he could at least go for, you know, getting supplies. Like, I think it would end better for Thanos than for Frieza. Frieza is super powerful, but you still have some powerful Marvel characters, and
yeah, no,
like, so I think in the end it could, like, while it's hard to say which one is more powerful because those words work on different rules, I think Thanos could have a better time in Dragon War than if he wasn't so upfront with his plan than Frieza in the MCU.
Yeah. Okay. No, I'd say that. Cameron Heaton's next. Iron Bulma, trained with Saiyan, Krillin, and Mr. Satan. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I feel like she would then, with the what if Bulma trained like Goku, she would end up moving from just Yamcha. I think, basically, she would want to train with more different people and get variety and stuff like that. But, yeah, I think that could be for a potential future arc, certainly. Hannah Rowan's next. Hashtag Good Boy Triad. Gohan interacts with 16 and Broly. Oh, yeah, I can imagine those three working together quite nicely. All the innocent boys and stuff like that. Yeah. No, I agree with that. And I like the hashtag. Good on you, Hannah. Red Dragon Force 2's next. Maria Cruz Cavarubias. What if Chi-Chi's education focus was because sobby people made fun of her for being a fighter living in the woods married to Goku? I don't think that's the case, really, because, she's a princess. She's a princess that lived on Fire Mountain, who was quite revered and everybody admired. And Ox King, may have been a bit of a hard nut, but, he was a fair king. But, honestly, it's just because she just has a very, very clear mind map of what she wants to do with life. She knows what she wants to do. So, basically, but, say, for example, for the sake of the argument, if it were the case, then I'd imagine, really, that... I don't know. I don't think Chi-Chi would be that swayed by normal people. She's got some kind of... She's got a mission. She's determined to solve it. But I have to admit, it'd be one of those things where, like, if she did admit that to Goku would just, like, would easily get her out of that funk. Certainly. SSG3 Gohan's next. What if 18 didn't kiss Krillin? Oh, that could have induced more doubt into Krillin, But at the same, because that kiss just shows that even though it may have seemed a little bit unsure at the time, it set Krillin down the road to, crushing on 18. Things just started to whir in his mind. But
yeah, big time,
Yeah.
because it's like taking that kiss. I mean, like, it's a little bit far for casual flirtatiousness. So, like, Krillin sitting there and he's like super confused, and this leads to his crush, leads to him like falling for her hard. If she hadn't kissed him, it probably would have come down to the wire, but he probably just would have exploded her, as was the original plan.
Yeah, ultimately, it would have had a lot more tension, certainly, but we certainly we would not have had Perfect Cell, certainly. It would have had a lot more intrigue. I'll say that. Noah Sturban, what if Chi-Chi was a Saiyan? We have had that before, but it's a fair question. If Chi-Chi was a Saiyan, there'd be no question about Gohan training. At the very least, she'd have at least a good understanding as to why Goku wants to train him. She'd understand. And I feel like Gohan's upbringing would actually be a lot more stable, as it were.
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not much else to say, really. It's just, clear cut, yeah. Dalen64. Funny one-shot idea. What if Android 18 became a police officer? She could do bad cop, good cop situation with Krillin. You know what? I'd really like to see that.
Yeah.
It's like 18 wants to. 18 feels bored, so she just rocks up to the police office where to the police precinct that Krillin works out. It's like, hey, I'm bored. I want to work. I want to go on a job with you. But honey, it doesn't work like that. And then everyone's just like, I ain't got no problem with that. It's like everyone's like, oh guys, stop. Oh. But then ultimately,
at first the chief is gonna deny it, but Android 18 gives him one glare, and he's like, Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Or basic,
Yeah.
or even even if you just want to have the sleazy police chief, he takes a look at her. It's like, yeah, well, Krillin, nobody told me that your wife was hot. Yeah, sure. Keep her in
Oh
the office,
my
and then
God.
18's just like, and then 18, she just walks off. He rolls her eyes, but then when the officer gets back into his office, before he knows it, his coffee machine is completely freaking busted.
With a single punch, yeah.
Exactly.
You're gonna need a new coffee machine.
It's like, oh no, I heard those models just suddenly just explode on you. Just something like that.
Just like your little heart.
Sweet caffeinated vengeance. But no, you know what? I feel at the end of the day, actually, they would make a good team.
Yeah.
They would, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be really fun.
CSI West City with Krillin and 18.
Yeah. Noah Sturban. Oh, no, we've had that one before, sorry. Dark Snake X5. Hi, Masako, this is more of a suggestion. In the What If Future Ranch had alternatives, where did she go back to the past with Trunks? Where she did go back to the past with Trunks. Well... Oh, hang on. So, in the What If Future Ranch had alternatives where she did go back to the past with Trunks. Was she... Oh, okay. So, basically, if she went back to the Trunks to fight with Cell games and stuff like that. I don't know. I think there'd be too many fighters, really. I mean, I feel like it would kind of dilute the stakes almost. But I think in the story that I did do, it kind of made Ranch feel bad and stayed in the future just for the sake that she did let Trunks down in a way. But she did get what she wanted, ultimately. But if she did, then I imagine probably that she and Trunks would have gone into the time machine together, or into the Room of Spirit and Time together. Certainly to train more. And then they would probably just go back and then they would ultimately just destroy the androids.
Yeah.
Totally. Telemachus is next. What if, inspired by Raditz' change of heart before his death, Goku decided to save Nappa from Vegeta? Afterwards, Goku, Nappa, and friends head to Namek to revive their friends, including Raditz. Okay. So basically, if this was like a variation on what if Raditz turned good, and then Nappa turned good, so basically it would be almost like, you know, it would just kind of almost be like an allegory for, like, Saiyan elites being complete buttkiss, or being complete BS. Like, all this mid-class and low-class Saiyans actually end up having more potential than Vegeta. So, you know, but ultimately I don't think Vegeta would care initially, because it would just be like, you know, I don't care, I have no use for him anymore. But yeah, I think that'd be the long and the short of it, really. It'd be cool to have, like, Nappa and Raditz kind of working together, knowing that they're actually equals. That'd be neat. Blue Nitro 7. Been a big fan for close to 2 years now. Oh, cheers, dude. What if you somehow tricked Shin to fuse with him when in need of an example of how the Potaro worked? Well, Haverok seems to think that Shin's that dim-witted he'd do that.
Wow, yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. Like having a demon fused with, like, feels like something few would do, honestly. But
It would be, yeah.
I mean, again, with what exactly Few is, like, Few is an amazing concept, but executed in pretty mediocre way, that could make him like almost this, you know, this dark angel kind of being that, you know, tries to help, but his way of helping is, yeah, I will take you out of the burning building, but I don't care if I break your legs on the way from the building, basically.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I would say. Scion, what if Yajirobe was a mainline protagonist? Oh, aka if Yajirobe actually tried. I'd say pretty much he wouldn't be that far behind the Z fighters in terms of power. He is right up there.
Not too much.
Yeah, in the early days of Z, but obviously, later on he doesn't. Yeah, he gives up practically. He doesn't train at all. But like during the during the Saiyan saga, he was not that far behind. I think he was had a power like 700 or something like that.
I think it might have been even higher than that.
Yeah,
but
we are
because
surprised.
because he actually had a pretty potent power level back even during the Dragon Ball era. The biggest reason he doesn't make a lot of gains is because he prefers to let others do the work.
Yeah.
If he actually had some kind of motivator, I feel like he'd make some pretty good gains, because I mean there was a point in time where he was stronger than Goku during Dragon Ball. He was stronger than Tien. He was stronger than these other characters. And so what he really needs is he needs a strong motivator.
Yeah.
And in that regard, I think he'd be just as valuable to the crew as any of the humans are, if not more so.
Friends, Yajirobe during his power level during his fight against Vegeta was 970, and around 3 of Might, of course, it's a 3 of Might timeline, 2100.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Not bad at all.
In the Saiyan Saga, that's just maybe like about 50 behind Gohan. So that's not bad. That's not terrible. So yeah, I mean, less than Krillin, but still, that's handy at the time. Yeah, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
If Yajirobe was a mainline protagonist, he'd actually be trying.
For someone not using key attacks.
Yeah,
it's kind of
exactly. It's just pure strength. Imagine if he had key attacks. He'd be right up there. Totally. Okay. Rocket Prime. What if Trunks and Goten found Chi-Chi's helmet? Oh man, you could imagine that Goten finds the helmet in the closet, asks to play with it. Chi-Chi said, just completely blasé, just go, okay, but don't break it. And they just basically, hey Trunks, check this out. And they just it's just got a laser in it, and they end up just causing absolute chaos.
For some reason, I just imagined Trunks and Goten playing Magneto and Professor X with this little Trunks cosplaying Magneto with.
No, but you couldn't call it X-Men. It would be oh, we love this movie called Z-Men.
Oh my god.
But no, basically it's like Xma, but they they spell it as EKS Men.
Copyright safe renaming.
Yeah.
Like my favorite drink, Beppis.
The Beppis. Oh, Fruit Sprute, Pep, and Fat. Yeah. Fanta, it's fat.
It's fat. Oh god.
Yes.
We have Adadas here in Poland.
And not to mention, every time I went to Youmacon, there was always the old and good old-fashioned Michigan drink, Fugu. I know it's Fago. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Darana 12. What if Raditz just took Gohan and left the planet? Well, if he did...
Well, Sophie.
Also, what?
Oh gosh.
Well, Sophie.
He's making a reference to the fact that I have a script in the works for after my Vegeta one.
Oh,
that's
okay.
basically that exact plot. I just need to be able to get to it. The biggest problem is that I've needed to work so much more at the day job in order to make ends meet recently because of various different expenses. So I apologize for not updating my channel recently. I'll try to get on that as soon as possible, but I do have a what if for that in the works.
Well, one day, being a Dragon Ball nerd will pay the bills.
Yeah,
gotta keep
one
plugging
day.
But yeah. So what have we got now? Joe the Met. Oh, well, okay. That's if Raditz took Gohan and left the planet. Well, they'd be kind of screwed because there'd be no way of actually chasing after them. Unless they were able to gather the Dragon Balls and literally just teleport Gohan back.
Yeah.
That'd be the only thing they could do.
Well, and that's the thing is it could significantly change the entire course of the whole universe if Raditz escapes from Earth with Gohan, never learns about the Dragon Balls, and if you just add in for good measure, hint hint towards my script, if Piccolo were to happen to die in the Raditz confrontation, and thus the Earthlings did not have access to the Dragon Balls, they would need to find a way to follow Raditz into space manually. So, you know.
Yeah. It'd be very, 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 very tricky. Yeah. Joe the Medical's next. What if MasakoX actually got contacted by Akira Toriyama to actually make these what ifs into anime? Well, first of all, that ain't gonna happen. Actually, one time, like, when I was going to, like, Anime Acon in Texas, I don't know whether this was true or not. I probably think it's not. But apparently, Akira Toriyama does not like DBZA. Like, not at all. I mean, this was back in 2014.
Oh, well.
I mean, that does not surprise me, but I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. But if we did, then he'd be probably just going, cool, even less work I have to do? Maybe?
Well, you also got to remember one major thing is that some of these people who make these manga and stuff like that, they take themselves very, very seriously. So the thought of people parodying their work is a little bit, they feel like it's a slap to the face, you know, not to be hyperbolic or anything, but that's about the best way as I could describe it. So
yeah.
So I've seen some people who overreact real badly to like fan works, parody, that type of stuff. Like there was a whole big to-do back in the fanfic days of when Anne Rice didn't allow fans of her vampire series to write fanfic about it because she hated it so much.
Yeah, I mean, 9 times out of 10, creators are flattered, pretty much. But...
I don't think, honestly, I don't think much, really. Like, he doesn't strike me as somebody who takes himself and his work that seriously.
Nah,
it's like,
you can't.
I would hope
okay.
not.
Yeah, no, you can't really be in Toriyama. With that,
I think Toriyama has a lot of problems, but I don't think that's one of them.
No,
honestly.
No, say not. Tempest Mars 1000, will there be another OC video? I wanted to show mine but missed the tweet. Otherwise, I can show mine on Discord if you're okay with that. Well, I know that a lot of people really want me to do another one, but I want to pace them out for a while. Because if you guys don't know, I rated people's OCs. And a lot of people liked that because I wasn't downing on them. And I was offering critiques and comments and stuff like that, but something that's constructive. And to be honest, the people that did actually produce stuff like that, they were really good. You know, they were really good. And, yeah, really well thought out. Yeah, not to mention all the different body types and stuff like that and variety. Like, there was one in particular
Speaking of... I was just gonna call you out as a clickbaiter because of the Majin choice you put in your thumbnail.
Well, it's just, the thing was, though, is that I just thought I'd try it as an experiment for the fact I actually took a look at the numbers and I was just like, YouTube, you make me sick. But actually, because I had a look, there's YouTube has this thing called the Cloud Vision API, and I use that sometimes to check whether, you know, YouTube and the algorithm rates something that is either racy, adult, spoof, or violent, or stuff like that in a thumbnail, because I know that can make a difference. And curiously enough, the original one, where it's just a doodle, actually was deemed more racy than the one that's already there. So I'm just like, YouTube doesn't think there's a problem. And I'm just thinking, well, actually, it's actually a tuple. It's actually like a tuple.
Oh, it's a tuple like baby.
Yeah, sort of.
Because the hair, the hair tail stuff made me think that it was like a Majin design, but it was gray like Puddin from DBZ.
Nah. Well, hey, come on. I'm perfectly secure, and the fact is, though, it's a really good drawing. I'm not gonna deny. I like the female form. I'm married.
You're never living it down, Moss.
Ultimately. Oh no. This is just funny. No, this is just funny. It's absolutely funny. But I love my wife.
Let's maybe move on. But before
Okay.
that, I could toss one idea that we may do more of those in the fourth stream, perhaps.
Maybe for a stream, yeah.
Mhm.
Like, well, probably for a stream, I would say. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, next thing is Red Dragon Force 2. What if Kal-El landed at Capsule Corp around the same time as Goku landed on Mount Palzu? Kal-El joins Bulma on her journey and has a new name. Okay, so basically, if Superman and Goku were to meet, I would say probably. I think really that Kal-El would be a bit of a sponge and basically be like very smart, and I think even smarter than Bulma. And you know what? I think that would actually make Bulma really jealous.
Yeah.
She'd be really jealous at the fact that this person who wasn't of Capsule Corp Dr. Brief's blood is smarter than her. So I think ultimately that would cause a major rivalry. So
Also, he can cheat with all of his, all of his powers. Like again, I think that his inclusion would be a pretty world-breaking thing.
yeah, it would be very world breaking, certainly. Yeah, ultimately. But it's a fun idea though. It's a fun thought.
Yeah.
Sonic 16 Link 20. What if Goku returned with Raditz? Or would that be too much like what if Bardock convinced the Saiyans? No, I would say it's different enough. But basically, if it did, it's like in our Goku defeated Roshi one, he'd only go with Raditz to try and save the planet. Like, if all else failed, there was no other hope, Goku would only go reluctantly. And I think he would try and, as we do in the What If, try and bring it down from within. But at the same time, he would actually try, and he'd probably try and get to know Raditz in a way, to try and suss him out. Because Goku does like to suss out his opponent. So, I think ultimately, he would just try and get like some kind of handle on him.
That makes sense.
But
Yeah.
brother bonding in not the best of circumstances, certainly.
Indeed.
Futo, what if the time ring Goku Black had didn't take him back to the future when Goku first fought Goku Black? Oh, easy. Oh, Goku Black would have been toast. Basically, if Goku Black was stuck in the past, ultimately, he probably would have been like bested. Trunks probably would have jumped in and sensing that Goku Black was weakening, and would have just ultimately just wiped him out alongside Goku. Because, Goku Black's like rapid development needed some time to actually, take, as it were.
Yeah.
So I think if he didn't have the chance to, he probably would have been wiped out. But you would have still had the whole, future Zamasu in the future to deal with. You'd have still had to have present Zamasu dealt with. It wouldn't be over the arc. You just have to find, you'd probably only go back to the future once, maybe twice to do the Martha, and then that would be it. It would remove one trip to the future, which would actually be quite to its benefit in a way.
It would remove Fuse Zamasu, which would mean that it would be much easier for them to deal with. Because I think that even Immortal, future Zamasu would lose a lot of his sass in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would say so. Okay. Dalen64. One shot what if? What if Future Trunks found and teamed up with Future Android 16 to fight off Goku Black? Do you think the two could fight off a pre-Rose Black? I would say only if the Future Android 16 had the bomb, which he would. But I think ultimately, he'd try. They'd fare better, maybe, because Goku Black couldn't sense 16's power. But ultimately, it would probably have to lead to 16 being using self-destruct. But, Goku Black wouldn't know about Android 16. And, would really kind of think down on technology. But, the finishing move would be Android 16 blowing himself up. Like, taking out Goku Black. But then Trunks would have to deal with Zamasu, and Zamasu would kill him. Pretty much. Like, Zamasu would just straight up kill him. Like, no toying around. Yeah, dead. Pretty much. So, there'd be no messing about. But, Cool idea, though. If anything to add an extra Android 16 in, I'm fine. I'm happy with that. Manifesto. Much like how Frieza wanted to be taller in DBS Broly, what if Cell wanted a wish to erase his spots in DBS Broly? This is if he was picked for the Tournament of Power. You know what? I can imagine that happening so Toriyama didn't have to draw them.
Oh my gosh.
I could
Everything about me is perfect except for these blemishes on my perfect skin.
You know what? I thought these were perfect, but this just does not work with my complexion. It does not work with my color.
It bothers me. It bothers me a lot.
You know, since I was fighting, I didn't really pay attention to it. But now I've had some time to dwell on it for these couple of millennia. I realized I don't like these spots.
So, if he's had some time to think and stuff like that. Alright. Brian Kubero. About Saiyans getting Zenkai boosts when they win, I imagine the galaxy being ruled by separate warlords ruling planets and peoples they conquered, with these warlords all in conflict with each other. Okay, so this is back to what we did last week. If Saiyans got Zenkai boosts when they won, which is really cool. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, the Saiyans without a king, kind of almost splintering off to have their own factions. Certainly, on like different planets, like with the destruction of the Frieza Force. So the Frieza Force being completely decimated, the Saiyans would then use up the planets and then create their own factions and tribes. Because in a way, from what I see from the Daizenshuu 7 history, the Saiyans, I believe, started off as a tribe of peoples that were different from others, and they were just the strongest. And then it just kind of went from there. So I imagine this just being an extent and a further development on that. So I like that idea, Brian. Good one. Jordan Thompson. What if Kid Goku and Kid Vegeta were in My Hero Academia? Well, you'd have Dekurot and, you know, Bakujita. Certainly. You'd have that dynamic all over again.
Saiyans in My Hero Academia break the entire flow of the narrative. Don't at me. This is a problem that I kind of have with some of the fanfic that I see on My Hero Academia too. That makes like Deku into a Super Saiyan. The problem is there's nothing that a Saiyan can fight against really in the My Hero Academia universe that really stands a chance. So yeah, them being an MHA, you know, it's all fun and all, but they're way too OP for that universe.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, yeah, it would break the law in there. I mean, if there was ever a crossover with Dragon Ball and My Hero Academia, I mean, I would imagine they would then adjust the powers to make it work because it'd just be a temporary thing. But if it was like a long-term solution, then it just would not work. It just would not. Red Dragon Force 2. What Ninja Bros 1994 says, what if Raditz was reincarnated as Goku's grandchild, either Pan or Pan's siblings, or even Goten's child? Ah, so we'd have Zetida. I don't. If it's canon on our channel that anyone who's reincarnated has to have a backwards name. It'd be Zetida or Zdada.
Tada!
Zada, and it'd be a parody of Tada. Stada!
Stadams! And magnificent hairline, for sure.
Oh, yes, and his hair is just so huge for such a baby.
Or hair.
When he was born, he was more hair than baby.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would imagine it'd be like that. It'd be very interesting, but it'd be like if he just had a sense of being, like, sneaky. And then Goku just says, he just reminds me of Raditz in a way.
Because I am your brother.
Wait, what?
Nothing, Grandpa!
Yeah, just mind swaps at the same time. Arkimo Ryu, what if Goten was in the future Trunks storyline? Well, okay. So, if for some reason, if somehow, like, just before Goku died of the heart virus, they got jiggy with it one more time, like with Chi-Chi knowing the end was nigh. Maybe? That's the only time I would say that how you could get Goten. But if he was, Chi-Chi wouldn't let him out of his sight. out of sight.
Yeah.
Seriously. Goten would not be allowed to train. Absolutely not. And
No.
it would keep her sane. That's the only reason Goten would exist. And have the
The
same
problem,
hairstyle.
the problem is, would it keep him sane though? Because growing up in that, like, he would be super sheltered, like hidden from the world, because and the androids would be after you. You know, like he would have such a messed childhood, even more than future drugs did. Really.
No, certainly. But he would not have a good time. You think Gohan was stifled. Yeah. Kevin Blanco, thank you very much for your super chat. Darksnake X5 again. Masako, what if found someone who was good with animation? Would you animate Dragon Ball R&R? You bet your sweet bippy I would. Like, seriously, I would love to, but it's expensive.
Yeah, animation in particular is expensive in both time and money.
Yeah, exactly. Doing R&R is pretty pricey. And yeah, it's very, very pricey. The material we get is really good, and we are taking our time with episode 5 if people are wondering. We want to make sure it's good, but we are doing pre-production on episode 6. So hopefully episode 6 will come out a lot quicker than this one. But we are working on to improve the process. Can I ask you questions, Darksnake? Yes. If I could, I would. Hannah Rowan, what if when in search for a 10th fighter, we searched on his staff and found Broly? Maybe a possibility for Trunks and my what if? Okay. So basically, if we found Broly on Vampa, but at the same time though, that actually probably wouldn't happen, because when Cheelai found Broly, his power level was only in the 6 figures at the time, because he didn't really have much of a barometer, and he kind of reached his peak without further goading and motivation. So, yeah, his base power is probably like just in the several hundreds of thousands, which for a Frieza Force soldier would be amazing. But at the same
It's much more plausible for Whis, to find somebody like 7-3 or some of the Moros goons in the prison instead of Broly at this point.
Yes, and give them an offer they couldn't refuse in order to take part.
Yeah.
Certainly. Mac the Minion. What if 17 joined the Dragon team after the Cell games? With how strong he got by Super, he might be very useful in the earlier years. Oh, in the Boo Saga, he'd be really handy. He would have been, certainly. But at the same time, I just think if he was in the Dragon team during the Boo Saga, he'd be very useful in the sense that Barbady could not sense his power. But at the same time, if he then discovered that 17 just does not run out of energy, he would then try and steal 17 and basically use him as a battery. And in the Boo Saga at that time, it'd be really dark. He would basically take out 17, wire him up to some kind of device which would then basically turn him into some kind of perpetual battery. It'd be really dark. I'd feel really bad.
Because Dabura would be still stronger than him and could get him. And I think that the one important thing is that in this continuity, 17 had a lot of stuff to think through. To be alone, to go on a solitary path, to grow into what we have in Super.
Yes. No, absolutely. Okay. Do what? Pine Barrens Gaming. Idea. What if Goku never got the heart virus? Also, I enjoy what ifs greatly. Well, if Goku never got the heart virus, in short, there would be no stakes. There'd be even less stakes. 19 would have been taken out. 20 probably would have been taken out too. Cell would have been roaming around. 17 and 18 wouldn't have been activated. Yeah, the Android saga would have been over much sooner, pretty much.
Well, Cell could find, they would never have the need to go to the laboratory, so Cell would just go and find a free buffet.
Okay.
The future Cell, our actual Cell.
Yep.
So, it could actually go kind of worse, because Cell would then attack them, and like Goku and Gohan, Vegeta, and Trunks wouldn't get those gains they got from the training, and suddenly perfect Cell. Hello!
That would be a bit of a twist. That is very fair. Alright, guys, I think we'd like to say now, the time is now 8:37 here. I'd like to say super chat submissions are now closed. So, thank you very much for your contributions. Please do refrain from super chats. We need to just get through. We need to get through a lot. So,
Yeah.
basically, thank you so much. No more super chats for now. Or if we do have time, then maybe, it's just something like that. We'll see how it goes. Tempest Mars 1000 continues. What if Pan needed dating advice from her family? Well, if it was certainly the dub version, basically Gohan would say, Pan, you need to mellow out and not be so much of highly strung.
The hilarious thing I find about this question is that it's pure shenanigans. No matter who she asks from her immediate family, none of them have practical experience in dating except... No, I mean, not even Videl. Like, it's implied Videl never had any interest in boys prior to Gohan, because she was, this tomboyish fighter type girl, the daughter of Hercule. She was up there on this pedestal, and she was fine with that until she met Gohan, a guy who could give her a challenge. Gohan's only girlfriend, the only girl he even showed interest in, was Videl, and then Goku and Chi-Chi. You can't ask Goku. And Chi-Chi literally, it was a situation where it's like, well, I mean, I just asked him to marry me at the tournament, and he told me, oh yeah, well, I made that promise, so I will.
Yeah, but she has the other grandpa. I think the Hercule would be the only one that could have that kind of experience.
Oh my god, that could actually wind up being really sweet if we hear about Hercule, like how he started dating his wife.
Yeah,
that would actually be a nice bit of exposition, certainly.
Yeah.
No, that could be really cute. That'd be really sweet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, the Ox King. That's another good one.
Yeah.
That could be very interesting.
Okay. Kevin Blanco. What if Kid Buu absorbed Elder Kai or Supreme Kai? Well, if Kid Buu basically absorbed the Elder Kai or Supreme Kai, then he would be very, very weak, and he would be very, very useless because Shin's in there. Okay, in all seriousness, basically, if he did, then he'd be even more powerful, and basically no one would be able to stop him.
Yep.
Like, yeah, that'd be that's the sound. We've not played the sound much. I was fearing that the button would actually end up being rusty. But yeah, so unfortunately, I don't think it would end up well for anyone else, really. Tempest Mask 1000 says, on behalf of King Popadon 1313, what if Barber didn't exist? Well, if Barber didn't exist, there'd be no way to be able to bring people back for 24 hours to Earth, for a start. Roshi would be an only child. And then basically they'd have no way to predict the future. Like, no way at all. And there'd be much less magic on the planet, certainly. I mean, in Z, it doesn't really matter as much. But in Dragon Ball, that would actually matter quite a bit. Because that was like one of the few examples of supernatural wonders and stuff in the original series. So, it would matter a lot at that time. Nate Otto, next. How would the Tournament of Power turn out if Universe 7 lost the original Universe 7 tournament? Would the new Universe 6 with the Z Fighters and the Universe 6 members win over Universe 11? Who do you think would make up the team? Oh, okay. So basically, if Champa won, and then they had to do a Tournament of Power, I mean, basically, Universe 7 then would be screwed. I mean, they would be screwed.
Yeah.
Beerus would have to resort to Pycon, Libu, Perfect Cell, maybe?
Yeah.
Perfect Cell,
Fuse 7-3, as I said, those goons of
7-3.
Moro! They would need to get out Moro from prison.
Oh my god. Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. But certainly Goku, Piccolo, Vegeta would be in there. It'd be mostly Saiyans because that's what Champa wants. I want me more Saiyans.
Saiyans plus hit.
And hit, of course. But yeah, of course. Just mostly Saiyans and hit. And that's it. White Oak 19. What if Goten and Kid Trunks took Future Trunks' time machine on a time-traveling joyride of Zamasu's defeat? Oh my god. Well, I can imagine them meeting some important historical figures, and they would end up creating hijinks, and then they would have to fix it. A la Doctor Who. I can imagine that happening. And I would have constant illusions of them. It's like, hello, young boys. How old are you? Oh, I'm like 12. Wow, you're very short for your age. Yeah, I know. I've been like this for like last 5 years. I have no idea why I'm like this.
Sometimes I think I was like this for like 30 years, but that just, you know, a feeling.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, no, they would just have some antics in history. They'd be a very good educational show for kids. Mac the Minion. Who would win in a fight? 17 or unfused Zamasu? Infinite energy versus immortality. Oh man, jeez. I think Zamasu would win because eventually 17 would break. 17 could break,
Yeah.
Zamasu couldn't, but it would go on for a very long time. It'd be epic, but it would go on for ages. Fun idea, though. I like that. That's a fun idea. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Babidi was able to turn Gohan using his past memories of his guilt and regret and possible arrogance during the Cell games? I believe if Vegeta was in a much more mellow state and really completely unable, and he wasn't really looking to get stronger, he was already pretty strong, it would have been Majin Gohan. Because Babidi would have feasted on Gohan's doubt. Gohan's doubt, his rage boosts and stuff like that. He'd look through his mind into the past and all the kind of regret and guilt from the past, as you say. You'd have Majin Gohan.
You can check what if Nappa turned good for Majin Gohan, because
Exactly.
he's there.
Cheeky plug. So you can check it out exactly how it would go. Will Brown says, what if Krillin's resurrection wish on Namek inadvertently included the Saiyans? Well, okay. Well, again, with Dragon Balls, you have to be really careful. In terms of reviving people that have blown the planet up, you know, Krillin would have to include the proviso that it includes planets that were destroyed. Otherwise, you'd get Saiyans in space, and they would suffocate. Because, yeah, sure, granted, with the Dragon Balls, as we learnt from Resurrection F, you basically end up coming back to life where you ended up passing. So, if there's no planet, you'd have to wish back all the planets that were destroyed by Frieza.
I'm not sure if Shenron can recreate that many planets.
No, it was Porunga, I think.
Porunga. Yeah, but also I don't think that he could do multiple planets.
Yeah, no, seriously, you'd have to break it up at the very least. Manifesto.
Done.
Yeah.
They're dead again.
It's like, done. Oh, okay, no, never mind. Done. Now the Saiyans are coming, and they're gone. Whoa. You guys are dark! It's like... Yeah, seriously. Okay. Manifesto. What if 17, Good Boo, and Ultimate Gohan joined the fight with Goku and Vegeta against Super Broly? Would there be any difference if they were in the movie? Yeah? It would be a help. But ultimately, Broly would just keep on getting stronger and stronger and stronger and overwhelm them. It'd be just there for the sake of fan service, really. I mean, Good Boo is fast asleep, 17 is on his boat, and Gohan's at his conference. He's been not going to enough of them. He otherwise, he gets fired if he doesn't go to too many conferences. So,
oh my, imagine the reason 17 goes into Broly punches someone so hard that they hit the boat.
Causes the boat to sink, and he'd just be like, okay.
Yeah.
So we're doing this then.
Yeah.
You know, it'd be like that. He'd have to be dragged back in order to actually help.
Ultimately, I think that the fight would just feel a little bit too crowded, and they wouldn't give a lot of substance to it. So
yeah, no, absolutely. It felt just right in the way. Kenshin491. What if Whis had a fallen brother that trained Frieza? Also, yay, Trunks nerd couple is adorable. It is adorable, isn't it? But if Whis had a fallen brother, I mean, to be honest, in a way, the closest that I think we'd ever get to a fallen angel is Mirus. Pretty much. Mirus is just an angel without a cause. And Whis has basically taken him on like a brother, and he already is a brother. So actually, in a way, Say, for example, we had Mirrors, but he ended up training Frieza instead. That could be very gnarly, but ultimately the Grand Priest would have to step in and then erase them, as he's proven.
Bye, son!
Yeah, I honestly, with the way that the whole pantheon of deities in Dragon Ball Super has been showcased to us, I almost feel like there's not a whole lot of room for fallen angels to actually be a thing, because if an angel were to ever stop doing their job, I have a feeling that the Grand Priest would know about it very quickly and would immediately eliminate them. And I don't see him making any exceptions.
Yeah. Bye, son!
Absolutely. I would say absolutely. I totally agree with that. Okay. Let's see. Next one is Duot. What if Vegeta was sent to Earth, Broly to Earth, and Goku with Bardock to Vampa? Well, for Vegeta, we'd have DragonBallZ. Broly to Earth, the DBS Broly. You'd have Paragus and Broly just kind of living off the lie of the land, and I think Paragus would end up really kind of like living the life of Riley in a way. He just want to blend in. Yeah, not be like not want to be a Saiyan, but he would just be like wanting to say, you know what, I'll take the stability and I'm away for Frieza. Yeah, he would dig it. And Goku with Bardock, pretty much I don't know, they'd have the same Broly Paragus mentality almost.
In a way, Bardock could be even worse than Paragus because he kinda cared less than Paragus.
Oh no, Duot actually says Broly invading Earth.
Invading Earth.
Well, if that were the case, then we play the sound. Because basically, Paragus would see Vegeta and then just like say, Broly, do it, Broly! And stuff like that. And then, the Earth would be destroyed.
Yeah, there's a very distinct possibility that Broly's power level would be much higher than Vegeta's by the time of the Saiyan saga. So, and even if it wasn't, we've already witnessed that Broly has the raw potential to literally grow over the course of a battle. And I mean, the gains he makes are pretty absurd over the course of DBS Broly, and yeah, I mean, it would spell the doom of the Earth if he was the one invading, just straight up.
Yeah, pretty much, I would say. Z-Man, thank you very much for your super chat contribution. Gorilla Geek 27. What if Frieza went back in time to stop Goku landing on Earth? Well, Frieza would have to have access to Beerus and a time ring, if he did. But I don't think Beerus would allow that to happen because. You're talking about destroying a Saiyan? I wouldn't do it if I were you, Frieza. I had some kind of dream about a Saiyan, I don't want you interfering. So,
yeah.
But if somehow Frieza did go back in time, the thing is, though, multiverse theory, we know multiverse theory. One parallel universe, Goku doesn't land on Earth. But for Frieza, it would make a difference.
It kind of reminds me of that old thing we discussed back when we didn't know the ending, of Super, when people said that it would be Frieza who would win. So I would thought that would be his wish, and leave the series on the cliffhanger. But I think it would end like a monkey's paw on him. He will end. His empire would somehow end up in a much worse spot, and Frieza would have to, for example, Majin Buu, and Frieza would have to, fix that again.
Oh, no, certainly. Yeah, no, I pretty much would have to say that. Manifesto, I've got a theory on how Cell could have returned for the tournament to power instead of Frieza and stronger than ever. I'd like to post it on Reddit if you could read it. Plus 3 new forms, red, white, and platinum. Yeah, sure, Manifesto, go for it. For those of you who don't know, the subreddit is r/MasakoX. So if you want to go and take a look at that. Ben Reitz, what if Charlotte was canon? You're all awesome. Well, thank you very much for that, Ben.
Thank you.
But in terms of like bringing in Charlotte,
yeah,
that would have to be almost like a similar, if you replace Tarble, almost. Like, instead of being Vegeta's brother, is just someone that Vegeta knew within the court for being someone who's just like a bit deranged almost.
Not exactly. If we would go and someday explore the the more ancient history of science, I think that he could easily be canon if we go that way. And I don't know. I still feel that there is something to it, and that this is something that Toriyama is personally interested in, because he seems unusually excited when he speaks about this thing. So I feel that he may want to show us, the ancient science and the whole, Yamoshi thing. And Charlotte is a very much a Toriyama design, so maybe he will find his way into canon.
Yeah, true.
Mhm.
Okay, that's fair. Zero to Hero, the live stream will be archived, so you can catch up if you have to go. But
Yep.
thanks for checking in already. Red
Thank
Dragon Force
you.
2. What if Naruto, Luffy, and Ichigo joined in the battle against Nappa and Vegeta? This concept is based on a meme with My Hero Academia I've seen on Facebook. Well, Luffy probably would just end up being quite consistent and stretchy and stuff like that. Ichigo would probably just bunkai Nappa to death. And Naruto depends on what kind of stage his tail, what kind of tail level of of his Q attack is. How many tails he is. Depends. But ultimately, if they were all in there, but ultimately, Vegeta's power is really basic. It's like key attacks and punches. Whereas all those other ones have different types of powers.
During the Saiyan saga, I can see it kind of being flexible enough. Once the power levels start getting out of hand, I don't think characters like Luffy or Naruto would be able to really hold up. But I mean, during the Saiyan saga, if we had every one of the Z fighters that were already there, plus Naruto, Luffy, Ichigo, they have enough going on that, especially if they decided to gang up on him and not go one-on-one, I could see them coming through that battle pretty handily.
No, I'd say so. Paul Dunbar. This is for the Goku married Bulma. What if future Gohan, their son, came back in time instead of future Trunks? Well, I imagine future Gohan probably would have had a bit more of a hard time trying to conceal who he was, because he'd be very, very emotionally kind of conflicted to see his dad. But he would ultimately, it'd be a much more thematically interesting interaction that he'd have with Goku.
I'm Yamcha. I'm the long lost brother of Yamcha.
I'm Yamcha Jr. Whoa, Yamcha had a kid? Yeah, sure. Well, good on Yamcha. Oh, well, he's dead now. Oh, that's not so good for Yamcha. Yeah, indeed.
You're telling me Yamcha got Yamcha again?
Yeah, I know. Man, that guy doesn't get a break. It's like, yeah, no, but I can imagine it'd be just more thematically more interesting, but in terms of what's said, it'd be exactly the same. Gohan would know what to do. Eris Greystone. What if Goku learned the Muffin Butt after beating Piccolo Jr. in the World Tournament? Before Z, how would this affect Z? Sending love, Masako. Amy. Well, thank you very much. But basically, if Goku learned the Mafuba, I imagine they would probably try to use it on Nappa. Because I think they'd try and use it on Nappa if Goku tried to. But I don't think he would use it on Vegeta because he wants the challenge. But Nappa's not that much of a challenge. He probably try and do that to try and intimidate Vegeta. But it didn't work.
First of all, they would use it on the Raditz, I feel.
Oh, okay. In that sense, yeah. They tried to use it on Raditz. They were Vegeta and Nappa would still come because he'd be just like, what the heck happened to Raditz? He just suddenly disappeared. They'd still go. But they wouldn't know about the Dragon Balls. They'd just be going there just because they're curious. Yeah. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Zamasu swapped with Ginyu, who just swapped back?
They would keep swapping, and the universe would explode for them swapping all the time.
Yeah, I think so. There'd be some kind of metaphysical dichotomy. Certainly. What Oak 19? What if Hit and Goldo swapped places? Oh man. Well, no. I'm playing the sound. The time skip is better than time freeze. At least with time skip, you don't have to hold your breath. Basically, and it would make Universe 6 Goldo, it would make him very underwhelming. Like, sure, he has time freeze, but once he kind of has to breathe, once Goku would suss out that, oh, okay, once he's like gone, bleh, then attack. That's what you do. Why can't I feel my everything?
I think what Goku would do to defeat Goldo would be actually like he would make stupid faces, and he would like when Goldo would freeze time, he would see him doing those stupid faces,
and then burst out
and
laughing.
Yeah. Like that would be very good way of.
That does sound like a tutorial.
Very Dragon Ball.
Yeah. Okay. Charvale. What if Mr. Popo was the original god of destruction for Universe 7, but became bored and decided to have Whis train Beerus? I would find that very much in canon with what we do on DBZA. But I imagine, I got a bit bored destroying planets, so I thought I'd just come up here. It's much more interesting in a way. I get to do what I want, and nobody knows. So, nice little bit of headcanon, I will say. But, yeah. Oh, that Beerus, he was a bit of a try-hard. You know what, I just got bored of him moaning and stuff, so I just let him have the job. It's not like I wanted the job anyway.
But the thing about cats. Cats loves food. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Monsterland. What if after King Piccolo, everyone had to serve in the Royal Army for a few years, both men and women between 18 and 30, including Bulma and Chi-Chi, etc.? In that case, basically, if conscription was a thing, if that were the case, then, yeah, sure, against Nappa and the Saiyans and stuff like that, there'd be more people, but there'd be just more people to share in Nappa's best day ever. Pretty much. Yeah, sure, it would be a bit of a thing, but if ultimately Chi-Chi was pregnant, she'd be discharged, because obviously, you need to, you can't have pregnant women serving on the front line. You can't have that. You need to have them to have healthy babies to then, improve the economy and stuff like that, and all that other propaganda that people say. King and country and all that. Yeah. Darren Hardy. Looking forward to this after work. Keep up the excellent work. What? Well, thank you, Darren. What if Gohan kept up that he saw not only as a martial arts for academics as well? Okay. Well, he kind of does in the Dragon Ball Online canon. He basically makes a book about ki control and martial arts, and it's a big hit. It's like a bestseller. So if basically it just means that it just happens much earlier in a way, that Gohan thinks, well, okay, I'll just use my martial arts smarts and then use it in an application for a book. So yeah, just be like that really. King Popadom 1313, thank you very much for your super chat. Paparacha, what if instead of Trunks, Bulma gave birth to daughter Azirf and Chi-Chi had Lek instead of Goten? Lek being self. Well, let's just say Chi-Chi... no, basically, Lek would have a very magnificent jawline. And, like, Goku would come back and he'd just look at Lek and think, this kid looks really familiar. His jawline's
Acknowledge
amazing.
me, father. It is me, father, your son. Please play with me.
Yeah. No, but with daughter Azirf, she'd be tormenting Vegeta. I don't know what's going on, but I feel a sense of dread every time I look at my daughter. And sometimes she calls me a filthy monkey for no reason. Why? Why do you call me that, child? But yeah, there'd be elements of that for torment's sake. That laugh is dreadfully familiar, it scares me. Red Dragon Force 2. Are you working on another FAQ video now or soon? Oh yeah, we're definitely working on it. We just need to make sure that we have maybe 5 or 6 what ifs to go over.
Yeah, because we've got a lot of questions between the last one and now that are definitely going to have to go in the FAQ.
Yeah, so now basically we need to kind of have a basic understanding about what would work and whatnot. Yeah. Okay. Jordan Thompson. What if Zamasu took future Gohan's body instead of Goku's body? We'd have Gohan Black. That would actually be that would be really dark in a way. Not just, you know, because basically he dared mess with Goku's family. I feel that Goku would take this whole thing much more seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long or the short of it, yeah. Goku would be far less, you know, far less kind of goofy about it. And I know in Super that's practically what he is, but yeah. Wormy the Necromorph. What if Ghost Rider was in the future timeline and fought Zamasu? By the way, he has universal power and can destroy souls. Oh man, jeez.
Yeah,
Well, for starter, I would love to have Nicolas Cage fight Zamasu. Yeah, that would be fun. But I don't really know much about Ghost Rider. But essentially, if he can like have universal power and can destroy souls, yeah. No,
I mean, you know, like it's like in case of Zamasu, I think because it's not like he can go and destroy everyone he wants, but he can, he can target the wicked souls, and I think that Zamasu at this point of the story very much qualifies as something that could be eliminated by that was in his line of duty to deal with.
No, I'd say so. Rector Akor, or Akor. What if Ox King found and raised Goku? Oh, I think he'd be a very fair parent, he'd be a very strong parent, and he'd be very happy that Chi-Chi had a younger brother.
He will have a lot of faith in him.
Oh, certainly.
He would be very, very loving and doting.
Of course.
That's definitely a thing. We know that Chi-Chi learned at least some martial arts from the Ox King himself because he was trained under Roshi. So you'd probably still have a martial arts trained Goku. He'd probably be a little bit more familiar with the world just because, you know, he'd be a prince of Fire Mountain instead of the son of a hermit. But I don't think it would have changed Goku's personality too much. Though you would have probably wound up having a difficult situation once you started to get towards the Ma Junior arc and the transition from Dragon Ball to DBZ, because now Goku and Chi-Chi are brother and sister instead of husband and wife, which makes things a little awkward.
But then again, well, we can't do this. We're related. Not by blood. Oh, well, that's okay.
Don't, Masako!
Not by blood. Well, if Cell thinks it's okay.
That does not make it okay. You can't just say Cell would do it.
I know it doesn't make it okay. I know. It's for the lels.
Cell would also break people. Doesn't make it okay.
I know.
Okay.
I know. It was just a teasing. Don't worry. Well, yeah. Red Dragon Force 2 says, any word on the DBZ Abu saga? There is a statement that TFS put out right now. That's all I'll say. I haven't read the statement yet, so until then...
I have. It's
really
on Patreon.
It is there if you want to go and read it.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, until I've read it, I can't really say. So, unfortunately, that's pretty much all I've got right now. I need to read it. Isaiah Fraser? What if Goku Black got the heart virus? Oh man, that would be poetic justice. Say, hey Goku Black! How does it feel like being immortal? And then basically Goku Black's just got this heart virus. It's been laying dormant inside Goku all these years. But all this extra dark, godly energy has set it off again. He has a heart attack. He's like, oh my god, this is what it's like to feel mortal! It'd be poetic justice in a way. I think karma, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Red Dragon Force 2, again? Augustus Abrams for the Napper. What if he met Cafe early, either during the 3 years before the androids or the 7 years before Boo?
You know, that's actually kind of funny because, like, when we were considering that story, I was very reluctant to give Nappa any love interest in the first place, but the design of Cafe and the idea felt so cute that we kind of went with it.
Yeah, just for the design was just so endearing, and their relationship is just really, really sweet.
Yeah. And I think that's what makes it special, that they are two, older characters, not exactly in their prime. And I think that it would lose a lot of its special meaning that it has in those what ifs,
Yeah.
Well, it's a very unique relationship when it comes to any of the relationships we actually kind of get to see in Dragon Ball, because a lot of the older folks in Dragon Ball are either unmarried or they're widows/widowers, and to have this relationship where it's just two older people whose interests aren't like in physical, it's just this connection that they have that satisfies their loneliness, and they have this they just click, that's such a strong thing to include in the story when there's nothing else like that in the rest of it, to make them younger, make them meet earlier, make them younger, make them more like every other relationship in DBZ, would diminish that.
Oh, okay. Now, basically, Augustus wanted me to read that what if in Nappa's voice.
What if I met Cappy early? Either 23 years before the androids, or the 7 years before Boo. Well, all I can say is it would be really awkward because she was actually previously married and stuff. But, it depends where the other guy bought it. And, yeah. All I'm gonna say, I'm no homewrecker.
Good on you, Nappa.
Good on you. Nappa, good boy. Nappa is a good boy.
Zeltic says, what if the Saiyans were wished back post-Namek wish? Again, as we said, you'd have to wish back the planet first, or you'd have to wish them both back at the same time. Otherwise, you're gonna get a lot of Saiyan corpses in space. Pretty much. It'd be very, very dark.
Corpses bobbing in vacuum. La 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 la.
Compass Rose. What if innocent good Boo was female? Well, again, that's been going on for a long time, since the 90s. I've seen so many gifs of like a female Boo, but
well, people just want a cute Majin. I mean,
it's not like
look
we
at
don't
what
have
they
one
did
of
with
those,
Xenoverse.
yeah, of course. But good Boo does find love because thanks to Margaret and Bob and Margaret.
Mm-hmm.
He has B, or Booby or something like that. Yeah.
I think in the Dragon Ball Online thing, the female Boo's name was Booby because they do booby.
it was pretty much. Oh boy, Dragon Ball Online was weird. It was weird. Okay.
The Red Pants Army.
That.
Her name is just Miss. Her name is just Miss Boo.
Yeah. Or if we're to paraphrase the honest trailers, Margin boobs. For honest trailers.
Boobs.
Boobs. Yeah, the John voiceover guy, it was really fun being on that honest trailer. That was a lot of fun. For Dragon Ball Evolution. Bye-bye, man, trailer van, voice man. Anyway, Gorilla Geek asks, what if Hirudegan was canon? Well, if it was canon, I'd only have him have that first form, because that first form is freaking terrifying.
Yeah.
You need to have that. That first form was incredibly awesome.
Yeah.
And
also, if you are curious, we did a discussion on it.
We did do that. So if you have a look on our channel, it's look for Hirudegan. We got it right there. Dorina12, what if Raditz or Nappa were rebuilt as cyborgs instead of 17 and 18 being created? Ooh, I feel very ambivalent about this. At the same time, I'd be very interested to see them fighting cyborg Saiyans. That always sounds very awesome. But at the same time, I feel like it's just like Torishima would probably be saying, what are you doing? Why are you recycling older characters? So I feel like they would end up being temporarily there. But I feel like it would be like, since there's no bodies, in a way, it'd be almost a facsimile from all the data that Jiro collated. That's all he could do. Like, make some kind of a simulation of them. That's the best thing I could think of.
Something like it was done in plan to eradicate science. That something akin to that.
Yeah, something like that. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Piccolo looked up Super Namekian God to get it? Oh, he'd do it. He would do it. He'd be very interested in to see whether he can actually obtain it. But yeah, I would say if he did, then that would be just another way of him catching up like he did becoming Kamikolo. It would just mean he probably wouldn't be as strong as Goku and Vegeta, but he'd be really close. And then in turn, Gohan would benefit immensely having that even bigger yardstick to work with constantly. Certainly. Gorilla Geek 27. Yeah. What if the Red Ribbon Army found Raditz's body and studied it and experimented on it? Well, then we would definitely have an android Raditz.
I mean, that's an excellent question. What happened to Raditz's body?
Yeah, that's true.
They just left it out there, I think. They took the scouter off, and then they just left it out there. So that would have been... That would have been... It would have been a pretty interesting way to go about the whole Android saga, because if you think about it, you got this situation, right, where this guy very nearly manages to fully defeat Goku. In fact, Goku dies in that battle. So I mean, I feel like Dr. Gero would have had a very high interest in Raditz as not only a fighter, but the revelation that Goku is, in fact, an alien would have been big news to him. And so I think him going and acquiring Raditz's body for experimentation, possibly even, revivification into an android or cyborg or whatever, makes a lot of narrative sense. Like, that's probably one that we should note.
Yeah, let's make a note of that. We'll make a note of that. All right. Tempest Mask 1000. Do you think Upa married Pokawatha? The village girl? Probably. I mean, this is one of those ones that Toriyama would just, look at you and shrug. Probably. It's, probably one of those things. I imagine. Yeah. That's just... Yeah. That's it, really. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Gohan gained partial control over Rosaru, like Banner and the Hulk, and kept his tail afterwards from the Namek Saga and beyond? Well, I feel like if Goku... Well, the thing is, though, who would teach him? Maybe Vegeta? And that's only then... Goku would only come up with that idea to try and, bring Vegeta on side, almost. Saying, I'll help you become Super Saiyan if you teach my son how to become, control his Ozaru.
Well, that's my secret, Piccolo. I'm always hungry.
Well, there you go. Manifesto. What if, just for last, Universe 6's Hit and Gotenks served go-nuts? Or opening a donut shop? Because Hit loves to make them, doesn't he? Ah! The specialty, the galactic donut. Oh, by the way, Kevin Slungdung, this is the sound we talked about. It's a personal favorite of mine. But yeah, if they did, Hit would basically, he'd be very good at just cooking donuts, all that kind of stuff, carrying it from the oven and stuff like that. It's instant delivery. He'd be infinite potential to just instant delivery.
And he can time skip, and it's free if we ever get late. But he knows that he can never get late.
Yeah,
time skips.
Well, there you go. Kenshin 491.
That's the yoke.
Sorry.
No, I'm just saying that's the joke. That's the yoke.
Ah, okay. Kenshin 491. How would you handle Vidal's and Gohan's progression after the Buu saga? Okay. After that, you know what? I liked where they were at the time of the Yosong Goku and his friends return. They were still dating, and they were just 20. They were just, it was just a relationship. They'd been dating for a couple of years, stuff like that. But I would just have them just carrying on being friends and dating, just having that. Getting married when they're slightly older. They still train because, it's one of the things that help them bond and stuff like that. And yeah, I just feel like they do that. Then with the
more Saiyaman and Saiyawoman stuff.
Exactly. Well. The Saiyaman, there wouldn't be just a Saiyaman movie. There'd be a Saiyaman and Saiyawoman movie. It's basically, it would be the Dragon Ball equivalent of Ant-Man and the Wasp, pretty much.
Yeah.
There you Ice259. What if Goten became aware of himself like that fourth wall Yamcha comic and trained himself like Gohan in his young years and bettered his self-esteem? Well, the thing is that Goten's self-esteem's actually quite high despite all of the stuff that happens to him or not happen to him. Despite that, his ethos is really healthy and pure. Like, it surprises me. But if he did, then I would imagine he just like... But the thing is that he doesn't have the rage boost, so a lot of the things that Gohan did to control it would not really be applicable, in a way. So, yeah, I think so. That'd be the case. Also, I know that some people want to have have their what-ifs answered, but due to the fact that we do get so many people in the chat, and in terms of archives and stuff like that, this is good for the records. That means we know that we can keep a track of them. That's why we do it the way we do. Tempest Mars 1000. Here's my last one for today. Let's make sure. What if in GT, Goten wasn't left behind on Earth, but Pan still sneaked into the spaceship? How would that change things? Oh, infinitely better. You'd have Goten and Trunks working together. Goten wouldn't have phone reception, so he'd have to take on board the job in hand, and it would actually be a good leveler for him, I would say. And honestly, you need to have Goten and Trunks. You had a lot of them in Z, why not in GT?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. Jakob Bean. What if in the next DBS saga we find out Tien's father is a space pirate, which even Freezer is afraid of? He had no idea Tien existed until he senses Tien's power level during the Moro arc. Fill in the rest.
And his name is the Corsair. Nice X-Men reference. Nice X-Men reference.
Oh.
Yeah, like Cyclops' father is a space pirate, basically.
Ah, okay. Okay, I like that.
And in this case, Triclops' father would be a space pirate.
Oh yeah.
You know what? I feel it's something that with all his Marvel references, I feel that it's something that Toyotaro would do.
He would at least consider it.
Yeah.
It would at least have flickered in his mind, saying, you know what? Let's make Tenshin Han more interesting. And
I mean, the thing is, and I would really like to know something more about Tien's and Chaozu past, because like we have been with them for so long time, and we know so little about really what they really are. Is Tien some sort of a special, case with his third eye? Is it a special gift bestowed on some people? Is he some kind of mutant? Is there a whole race of Tiens or whole race of Chaozu? To quote AJ from Sayakon, what's a Chaozu?
Yeah. No, that's a fair point. Killian Buckley, what if the Namekians forged an empire to conquer? Well, the thing is, though, the Namekians are very, very placid. They have their planet. They just want to live their lives and stuff like that. But if they were evil Namekians...
There would probably need to be a civil war between, like, good and evil ones.
Kind of like what you had with Lord Slug, almost.
Yeah,
They would use their powers to become giant. They would have their powers and longer lives to make longer empires and stuff like that. It's a possibility, but you'd need to have, like, a break-off group, certainly. Dark Cloud Alpha. What if Bulma made her original wish? Who would Shenron create? Someone as Bulma's perfect boyfriend. I would say Yamcha. At the time, he was her perfect boyfriend.
Yeah.
And Shenron's like,
I cannot do this wish.
why is that?
Because he's right here.
And everyone goes, oh.
Shenron, you're too nice.
Oh, shucks, Shenron.
Don't mention it. I got your back.
I wasn't
Yamcha.
talking about you. I was talking about the pig.
Oh.
Oh.
Because he can be any boyfriend. Because he can change names. He can be any boyfriend.
Oh yeah, everything's coming up along.
Yeah. Akima Ryu saying, I am Rose Yamcha. I am now reminded of the Xenoverse 2 ending, and that was very, very surreal. Manifesto, just curious. What if Piccolo is a soul clone? Definition? You know, Demon King Piccolo spat him out to get his revenge and live on through Ma Jr. Same and not same. Okay, so basically it's just like, you know, it's just an exact clone of Demon King Piccolo. Well, I would imagine if Goku was sussed him out as being like a proper, you know, clone, he would just destroy Piccolo Jr. Like, if he just sensed it was an exact copy, he knows there's no redemption, and all the stuff that he has done is unforgivable. Goku only let Piccolo Jr. go because he knew and sensed that there was some good in him, and some sense of mercy, and he wanted to see more of it. But if this was just a copy of King Piccolo, then I don't think he'd be that forgiving. Yeah.
I call you later Piccolo Jr.
Yeah. Isaiah Frazier. What if regarding the Wheelo Jiro team up, Perfect Cell was intended to be Wheelo's intended body? Okay, that could be good. Like, yeah. This could be like his leverage, Jiro, in keeping Wheelo around. I'm working on this biomechanical body. Just give me 2 decades. 2 decades, and you will have the best body ever.
Why does it look like a bug?
Pay no mind to that. Honestly, you've been like this for 50 years. Can you really be that picky?
I mean, alright, but it has those spots on Blueprint. Aren't they hard to draw?
Yes, actually. Well, then I then add them. Oh! And what if Frieza had Hercule's personality and vice versa? What? What? It's like, oh yes, you're talking to the champ. It's like, well, look at me. I'm the mighty Lord Satan. Hail Satan! It would actually be more justified.
Much more justified.
Well, look at here. Ain't I fighting some filthy monkeys? But you're a monkey, sir. Don't question me. I'm the great Lord Satan.
I hate my filthy monkeys.
I don't like filthy monkeys. Yeah. That is rather funny. Alright, JRC. This is kind of meh, but what if Sin Shenron discovered the Black Star Dragon Balls before finding Goku? Maybe the dragons can sense other Dragon Balls. Oh, so basically this is like before Omega Shenron. I'd imagine if he could find them, he would end up just becoming Omega Shenron earlier. We'd have the evil dragon arc much sooner instead of Baby, maybe. But you know, we just have Omega Shenron, and yeah, it's Omega Shenron. Yeah,
it's black Omega Shenron.
It's yeah. Kenshin 491. Dragon Ball Super Girls Night Out. What do they do?
Well, I mean, the funny thing about this is they're almost all married, so they kind of have to watch themselves. But I can almost guarantee that probably 18 and Bulma would be the ones who would be down for something like doing the typical nightlife thing, clubbing, drinks, that sort of thing. Chi-Chi and Videl would be a little bit more reserved, but they'd go along with it. And once they actually started letting loose, then it would pretty much just be, you know, your typical stuff, your bar crawl, your dance clubs, your various different little things. Check out the shops that are still open.
Hello?
Oh my.
Oh,
yeah,
Sophie's
like
mic cut out there.
Yeah. Sophie became an android. So what if Sophie was Android 18?
Oh dear. But yeah, no, I mean, ultimately, I think that, yeah, what Sophie was saying about that actually does make a lot of sense. That pretty much is exactly what would happen. So we'll move on. Mark Gaviglio. What if Piccolo dies during the Raditz fight instead of Goku? Well, okay, that's easy. No Dragon Balls. No Dragon Balls. Goku would have to, no other choice. Yeah, it would all be done. Like, it would be, they'd be toast, as it were. Red Dragon Force 2. Sue Hartz asks, what if the Namekians told the Z Fighters where New Namek was located so that there's no need for time travel, except the Goku Heart Virus thing? Okay, so basically if the future knew about New Namek, and they knew where to go, they could just use the Namekian Dragon Balls to bring him back.
That's basically our kind of what we do in our Broly in Android Saga.
Yeah, because it's not said that there is like that caveat about natural causes with Porunga, because Porunga's dragon is much stronger, and it doesn't have that limitation. Because at the time, Dragon Balls became very convenient, and that condition was very, very counterproductive. So they get rid of it. Okay. Next up is Sassy Cat. probably already asked, what if Piccolo fused with Guru at the end of the Frieza saga? Well, I was actually looking this up for another what if I was working on, and apparently at that time, you could not, you could only fuse with people in your same clan. Guru is part of the Dragon clan, and at that time, Piccolo would not have been able to fuse with Guru, because, you know, Piccolo's a warrior clan, Dragon clan, doesn't mix. Nowadays, though, apparently with Namekian fusion, it doesn't really matter. You could basically just fuse with everyone. They changed that considerably. But at that time, if they did, Piccolo would just end up gaining a lot of weight. And that kind of stuff. It's like...
Do we got the real Sophie back or robot Sophie? Because...
sorry about that. I got a phone call from my work, so I had to go AFK for a moment.
No problem.
No worries. Okay, next one is Isaiah Fraser. What if Vegeta actually wanted to restore the Saiyans? Okay, so say for example, Vegeta just thought, oh, you know what, screw it, I'm bored. Let's bring back the Saiyans and stuff like that. He would try and he would only bring them back just for the sake of righting a wrong. He wouldn't go back to them. He'd just like say, there you go. You're all back to life and you can get back on with what you were doing. Well, what about Lord
I don't
Frieza?
fully...
This is an if.
Yeah, well, what I'm getting at is that it really depends on the point in the timeline.
Yeah.
Like, the next what if that I'm doing once I get the script rewritten is actually what if Vegeta revived the Saiyans. And the idea is mostly like his intentions behind the revival of the Saiyan race largely depend on whether or not his mindset is still in the villain mindset or if it has finally shifted over to that sort of anti-hero mindset. For my own what if, the idea is he's going to try to revive the Saiyans to fill the power vacuum left behind after King Cold and Frieza both kick the bucket. Because he still has that kind of villainous mindset to him. But I mean, if you're talking like once he becomes an anti-hero, once he's actually like a fully fledged like Earthling member of the Z Fighters and stuff like that, then yeah, I could definitely see him doing like what you say, Moss, where it's like he'd revive them for the purpose of righting a wrong and telling them like, you know, live your lives, live them better.
No, exactly. So yeah, it as you say, Sophie, it really depends on where you are in the timeline. Nick Wolf asks, what if Goku couldn't sense Monarca because Goku thought he had God Ki and couldn't sense Monarca? This leads Goku thinking Krillin and the like can get God Ki. Ah yes, the whole God Ki plausibility from my Monarca discussion video. I still don't believe that Monarca would have had God Ki, because I think Beerus wouldn't have been that flippant about it. And also Beerus was very mysterious about it, but I'm really proud with the video I did today. And it's just like, I know that it's not going to get that many views, but honestly, I don't care. It was fun to make. And I just love the whole idea that Monarca is one of these could be one of those people who is the strongest mortal in the universe, but he's like, yeah, but I really don't want this power. I just want to be a delivery boy and live my life. I'm a very simple guy. I just don't want it. No, just no. He's one of those people who's just very normal. He doesn't have hobbies. He just does his job. Doesn't really have any interests or anything like that. He just exists. I just get that feeling. Like
he strikes me very much as that sort of character, you know, from what I see of the canon and in Dragon Ball Super and stuff like that. He strikes me very much as like one of those guys who's like totally fine with working his day job that pays him well enough that he could like stay at home and buy his anime figurines and watch his shows and play his games and not have to worry about anything. He's just a very simple person who likes simple things.
And despite getting all that gold and wealth and riches from Beerus, he's just like, yeah, you know, that's all very well and good, but I like my job because I got nothing else to do. Yeah, pretty much. It gives me life in a way.
I don't know.
Something like that. He's very apathetic kind of guy, honestly. To Nick Wolf, in terms of your thing, what you said, that makes the most sense as to why Goku couldn't sense him in a way. You know? I think so. That's the most plausible. Isaiah Fraser says, what if Boo's persona was Alucard and Source Boss mode? Oh, well, that would have just... To be honest, that would have fit. I could have seen that. That would have been actually really entertaining. It's like, Boo gotta go for a walk! And stuff like that. That was a 70-inch plasma screen TV. So, how can Boo help you? Release restraint level 1. Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Does that mean that Boo was a chick in the 40s?
Boo hate everyone equally.
Oh my!
Red Dragon Force 2.
I'm gonna have nightmares about today. Mas, thanks.
Just like every other week. It's just like every other week. It's another day in the office for the MasakoX channel.
Yeah.
Red Dragon Force 2. Biddy Bears ask, what if Chi-Chi had a midlife crisis after Goku took Ood for training? I think she's had more than one. I think more than one.
Especially if you look at like the GT timeline and stuff like that, like her entire reaction to Goku being wished to be a kid again is literally like midlife crisis the reaction, because she's just like, you were already aging slower because you were a Saiyan and now you get to be a kid all over again. That's so unfair.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's pretty much open and shut, really. Nick Wolf asks, if you could sub one character from Funimation's dub and replace it with another English dub, who and why? I choose Scott McNeil's Piccolo from Ocean. Oh yeah, Scott McNeil's Piccolo's War is really good. To be honest, as much as I love Bob Pappenbrook's Ginyu and Bryce Armstrong's Ginyu, the Ginyu from the Ocean dub was actually really interesting.
I liked Ginyu in the Ocean dub a lot, and I was kind of glad that DBZA went for more of that sort of cultured sound.
Yeah. Instead
of that, I sound, despite being Ginyu, I sound like DBZA Nappa. you know.
I am merely doing your bidding, my Horned Highness.
Exactly.
But then again, the Frieza one was actually not. Yeah, that wasn't bad.
Having these balls makes me feel something resembling joy, I think. I wish to caress them.
I have a deep love for Brian Drummond's Vegeta. Brian Drummond's Vegeta is my all-time favorite Vegeta. He works best as Vegeta when Vegeta is a villain. But like, if there's one thing I'm glad that the Dragon Ball Super dub did, is bring him back for the role of copy Vegeta in the filler episode.
Oh yeah, no, I think, knowing Saba, that's just something. It's like, oh hey, why don't we like do this nerdy like fan service thing? I mean, this like mini arc doesn't really matter. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. It sounds like fun.
It's so great.
And he had a blast. He had a blast.
Oh yeah, of course. And it was just totally easy to do. No brainer. Absolutely. Okay. Next one is Jack Velarde. What if Piccolo Jr. created children like Piccolo Sr.? Well, okay. In the 5 years, if he was able to reach maturity that early, to make kids, to make his own little army, then he could have done that in a way. So I think that could be the case. So, but at the same time, it feels like you can't really make eggs until like you're much older. So I think by the time Piccolo did reach that age where he could have kids, he'd already mellowed out. And I don't think he'd have kids for a very long time. Probably not after until most of the Dragon Team members had died of old age. You know, pretty much open and shut.
Yeah.
Isaiah Fraser, DBZ crossover. Raditz becomes a Bleach Shinigami.
Ah yes! Raditz is going to the Soul Society!
Oh, he'd be that massive tryhard. Like, seriously. He'd be something like Maki or something like that. Yeah. Blake James. Would Gohan have kept up with his training if he stayed on Namek, hidden in Frieza's ship, gone to Yardrat, and learned the full clone technique? Well, I think if we've said this a couple of times in What Ifs recently, if Gohan had the chance to do Yardratian training, he would excel. He'd be really good at it. And I think actually he would probably work on the clone technique, because you know Piccolo has the Triform, and stuff like that, and then he would teach Piccolo that. So that means they'd
And
have
he would probably invent something on his own.
Yeah,
Something
eventually.
else.
Once he learned spirit control, he could then craft something of his own. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Dark Snake X5. What if in the Bulma Train like Goku video, when they went to Namek and Frieza summoned the Power Rangers instead of the Ginyu Force, and the Power Rangers are evil? Oh.
So they're the Psycho Rangers from Power Rangers in Space.
Oh, there you go. It's pretty much just them. Yeah, exactly like that.
That would be interesting.
It'd be even more based on like Tokusatsu, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I do love that one. I need to come back to that soon. But if he did, it'd be just an even more blatant reference, as it were. But yeah, it'd be fun though. Vulcan, what if young Gigi's Dragon Ball Bardock after was canon? Who did Vegeta marry and Goku marry Bulma? Was it Suno or Launch or someone else? Vegeta is unattached at the moment in that one, and I can imagine him being unattached for a long time. Because he's more obsessed with trying to get stronger. With young Gigi's Dragon Ball Bardock after, I have not actually read that. I really need to. I was at Comic-Cat a year or so ago, so I'm like, yeah, I should have probably picked up a copy because young Gigi did have a booth. The trouble is, it was in Japanese, and I don't know Japanese, unfortunately. It was cool though. It was cool.
Something I've been meaning to learn since I was a teenager, and I still haven't done it.
Yeah. I think that's probably what I'll do when I retire. Almost. Vulcan again says, "What if the Tuffles joined Frieza after their defeat?" Oh, a mutual hatred for Saiyans. That could be cool. So basically, if the remnants of the Tuffles basically join the Frieza Force, basically just out of hatred for Saiyans, I can imagine Frieza taking them in. You know, just for the sake of, you know, getting back at Saiyans.
Alright, gang. Who do you hate? Mom, kiss.
I like
Who do we
you.
destroy?
You're hired.
Yeah.
Pretty much that. Killian Buckley, what if Frieza, Vegeta, and Goku got sent to the past? It would depend on where they were sent.
That's a build-up for a pretty fun arc or something. Like the gods.
Yeah. Could be fun.
Yeah, they most of the time, if that group would have to do something, they would have to fight against another time traveler. So,
yeah, if it was specifically Frieza, Vegeta, and Goku, you're dealing with a tricky dynamic there because none of those people would be arguing for the preservation of the timeline because Goku, being the dolt that he is, really wouldn't get it. He'd probably just go with the flow, probably wind up causing just as many problems by accident as the other two cause on purpose. But depending on how far into the past they go back, Vegeta would want to take extreme means to like deal with Frieza, deal with the Frieza Empire, maybe even save the Saiyans if that's how far back they went, that sort of thing, take his place as king. Meanwhile, Frieza would be thinking the exact same thing, just the opposite. You know, I was thinking of Ocean Dub Frieza, which was played by a woman. Frieza, he would try to eliminate the Saiyans even sooner. He would try to strengthen the Ginyu Force. He'd be training extra hard, all that kind of stuff. It would be a disaster, an unmitigated disaster.
Yeah, I think the most fun timeline when we can send them would be during the evil good Saiyan wars, and that could be a very fun little story.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd say it could be fun. It could be certainly fun. Okay. Blue Nitro 7. Here's another what if idea I had, but don't remember if he did something similar to it. What if Bardock's crew managed to survive and escape to Earth? Bardock gave them the coordinates there. Okay, so basically on Planet Meat, Dodoria didn't kill them. So basically, I think, yes, because Tora and Fasha, if they, Seripa, if they survived and stuff like that, and they found Kakarot, they'd probably be like his guardian angels, as it were, just there for the sake of protecting Bardock. Like, they wouldn't get in the way of looking after Goku, or Kakarot, but basically they'd just make sure that he didn't come to harm.
Again, disagree on this because I think they would like to change him into a spitting image of Bardock.
That is another interpretation which is very valid. That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
I like to think that, you know, of like a raising guardian angel type thing, coming up with something different, but realistically, what you're saying is the most likely.
And they will be irritating Goku's good heartedness and simple natureness. They would be furious about that, I feel.
Yeah, they would find it very counterproductive. Blake James, what if Raditz had faked his death through the scouter when he found Gohan and spent the year training with the Dragon Team to be free of Vegeta and Frieza? Oh, it's a bit like the mix of the Gine and Raditz Turn Good, where Raditz goes like, "Oh no, I'm dying! Oh, woe is me! What a world! What a world!" Crush. And stuff like that. I imagine probably if he did, he would want to train, and I think knowing that he didn't have to take risks, his Zenkai boost would be mighty. You know, knowing that he could take more risks and stuff. Yeah, I think if he did do that, he'd end up being much stronger, and he'd be a real challenge for Nappa, certainly. Blake James again says, are there any characters from the original Dragon Ball that you would have liked to have been part of the Dragon Team? Nam, for a start. And what do you think they would have changed, if anything? I think Nam would have been a much more interesting and more philosophical thing, and he would have worked well with Tenshinhan. You know, mellowing him out and calming his mind and discipline and stuff like that. They could be a good double act.
Yeah.
But then again, in Kakarot, you have Nam looking for the illustrious Yamcha.
So they will even better triple act. No, Tien. Master Yamcha is just saving his energy.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, Nam thinks that Yamcha is this some kind of, absolute Zen master.
He would be extremely smart despite this one little thing. He would idolize Yamcha and think that he's like, that everything Yamcha does is like very thoughtful.
Yeah. It's funny though.
We need to find wisdom in Master Yamcha. As he said once, cat loves food, yeah. Which was the prophecy that told us that Lord Beerus would came. Lord Yamcha, Master Yamcha already knew back then that Beerus would came.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah, no, certainly.
Yamcha the prophet.
Podo then says, with how much time Frieza has, I love the idea of him being a secret otaku. Oh, of course. He'd be a secret otaku because he's an otaku of wines, pretty much. I imagine he has a very, very extensive wine cellar.
Can you imagine Frieza hosting a wine tasting?
He's like, yes, wouldn't you agree that this rosé has a very debonair taste? Well, I wouldn't agree to that. Oh, really? Well, your opinion doesn't matter. Okay, next. Something like that.
I mean, Frieza became Broly otaku in the Broly movie.
Oh, yes, true. Yeah.
He did gush quite a bit over Broly.
Yeah.
Okay. Gorilla Geek 27. What if Broly taught Goku the Ikari form and in exchange Goku trained Broly God Ki? I don't think Broly's that proud of that wrathful form. He's not proud of it. He really does not like it.
And I don't think it's something that you can teach somebody.
No, I don't think it is. It's just something you have. So I think Goku would just want to know how it works. Like, he'd be interested to know how it works. And then he would also teach Broly this God Ki. That's something that's a bit more, like, more kind of helpful and constructive for him, maybe? Something along those lines. But yeah, I think Goku would want to learn every single bit about what makes Broly tick. Certainly. Gorilla Geek then asks again, Old Man Goku, what if? Would Goku be more powerful, or would his old age weaken him? Yes, I thought of Logan when I wrote this. I think instead of Saiyans getting weaker, I feel they reach a peak, and no matter what training they do, they just don't get any stronger. Their Zenkais pretty much... Their Zenkais stop, they don't get any stronger, and basically, I think there'd be a slow decline, not a big decline.
Yeah.
In terms of their health, they deteriorate quite quickly. But in terms of their power, I would say it's like not as a big drop-off.
You'd basically have to, like, if you were going to do, like, an Old Man Logan style Goku story, right? You'd have to start it off and then, like, follow along with it over the course of, like, a year or two, because it's, like, the way it's described in the canon, as far as I remember it, is that, like, they pretty much remain in their prime until they hit, like, 80, and then it comes to almost like a hard stop, and they start aging really quickly after that, and their power starts to diminish pretty fast. But like that's something that happens over the course of like, a couple of years. So you'd have to like start off with him like hitting that old age threshold. Suddenly he's starting to get old. He's slowing down a lot. He has to consider like, oh well, fighting's been my entire life so far, and now I just can't keep up. What's he gonna do about that? Is he gonna take a selfish decision maybe to wish on the Dragon Balls? No, that's not like Goku. And then, that sort of thing.
And one important thing in OG story of Old Man Logan, which was kind of important for the original story, was that it was Wolverine who like accidentally killed all the other X-Men after being tricked by Mysterio. So it would also need to be after a scenario when Goku accidentally causes the deaths of his friends and make it unable to use the Dragon Balls to revive them.
Yeah.
So, and that aspect is a very important for the story.
Yeah, no, it's
yeah.
Victor Didier. Hi Masako, what if the DBZ kids were all born in reverse order? Bra instead of Gohan, then Pan, Marin, etc. Nature versus nurture. New character arcs? I would say if they basically were all born in different order, I'd say the character beats and the storylines would be the same. Because that's when, the characters would be developed. You just have slightly different quirks, as it were. But I think
slightly different quirks, a few different scenarios, but not enough to super change the whole story. It's like when we've been asked previous questions about like what if Gohan's gender was different, or like what if Bulla was born before Trunks, those sorts of things. The major story beats wouldn't shift too much. It would all just be kind of like the minor stuff, the character focused stuff, that would shift.
Yeah, the interactions between characters mostly.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. Jacked out. What if future Zamasu got amnesia and went to the past? Okay, so future Zamasu, basically, if he uses Super Dragon Balls and stuff like that, he forgot who he was and he went to the past. I imagine if he forgot everything, he'd just end up being like his neutral self, and his like hatred for mortals would be gone, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is part of this question asking if he goes to the past and is on Earth and thinks he's immortal, like not a Kai? Because that might be interesting, that sort of scenario.
No, that could be interesting. We'll make a note of it.
Yeah.
Rapid retrospect games. What if they introduce the Xenoverse cast into Super? Oh, they're gonna do this. If they do more Super, they want to basically mesh Xenoverse into the main lore. It's gonna happen eventually, but it's just a matter of time. It depends on what they do with Trunks and Mai. If they become time patrollers, if they do, then that's what they're gonna do. That's where it's gonna go. Column is rounding off everything. What if both Broly and Goku were sent to Earth? Well, if it was the original Broly and Goku, then Broly would end up destroying the planet, and I think the sound plays. We've actually not played the sound that much tonight, actually. It's been relatively optimistic. But, yeah, so essentially, I would say Goku would do it, and if they manage to somehow get to being kids, it would be the case of Broly then suddenly gets all angry and stuff like that, and then, that's the end of the world, pretty much. Especially without any Paragus to control them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So there we go. That is the end of the stream tonight. Thank you all so much for joining us. As in for the next stream, it may be at the weekend for Kakarot, a bit of Kakarot, but tomorrow Philly and I are out, so we won't be able to stream that night. Maybe Saturday night. See how things go. But thank you all so much for your contributions and your suggestions. They've been really good, and we really do appreciate this. This really does help the channel a lot, tremendously so. But hope you guys all have a good rest of your night, and take care, and thank you so much for watching. And one is glad to be of
Have
service.
a good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.